Welcome welcome everybody to tonight's live stream. We are going to paint a pilot. I seem to have misplaced the other pilot that I had already set up for it, so this is what we're going to do. Now, I went to Walmart. Is the audio okay on this? I ended up buying a whole box of parts, and it had probably, I don't know, 10, 15 Williams Brothers pilots. Let me get this open. How's the audio, guys? Please let me know. I can't tell. For this one, I'm going to use the, I think he's 1/6 the size. He's the big boy. Let's see. 1/6, 2-inch pilot. Audio's great. Okay, great, Donnie. I went to Walmart. They used to sell model glue, but you can't buy model glue anywhere. So we're going to try this Gorilla Glue for plastic. It says that it's you shouldn't use it indoors, so I'm thinking it probably has some type of acetone or acetate or whatever in it, so that's a good thing. We'll know as soon as I crack it open here. It's got to have enough to melt the plastic. Super glue won't work because it takes the oxygen away, but plastic glue melts the plastic. Something about a dowel. Oh, link to this, or we're not going to do that. Okay, what you're going to need for pilot painting is assorted brushes. I got these are cheapies here, and here's a good liner. It's a very small tip liner, and we're going to do some customization on this pilot as well. I can't ever leave things alone. So we got a fingernail file, scalpel. So let's open up the glue and see what it smells like. Got a pretty good tip on it. Yeah, it's open. Okay, that's good. If it smells like dope, then it's going to be okay. That's plastic glue, so it's thick plastic glue. That's okay. Now you can use acetone to glue plastic together. Get a small brush and brush the acetone on. You know, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but we're going to try it. This is brand new super glue precise gel for plastic. So let's oh yeah, it's good stuff. Gluing my fingers to the bottle. So let's see how it works. Has about the same consistency as the old Revell glue. I wish them guys would not have sniffed glue, because that's why they took Revell glue off the market, and that crappy modeler monogram glue doesn't work at all. It doesn't have the solvents in it, so I probably should have faced these off a little better. Oh no. There we go. No. It'll glue your fingers good, but it won't glue the plastic together. What the heck? Oh, we got the glasses inside there anyway. You got to get them out of there. Try again. A little more on there, I guess. It'll definitely glue your fingers to the plastic, but I'm not sure it's going to glue this plastic together. If not, we'll have to use 5-minute epoxy. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work. Normally, good Revell glue, that stuff would be glued already. So I'll hold this for a second and we'll see what happens. Like I say, if not, we'll use epoxy, 5-minute epoxy. But in this modern day, we just don't have many options. You kind of got to use what you got to use. As a kid, you know, 10 years old, I could go to the hobby shop and say, give me a tube of Revell glue. Give me some paint, which was lacquer at the time. Now you can't buy lacquer. You can't buy glue unless you show an ID. Nah, this is crap. This is crap. Well, glue your finger to the bench good though. Let's see what happened there. I guess. Nope. Nope. That ain't gonna work. So, 5-minute epoxy. That's unbelievable. It says it's for plastic, but it ain't for this kind of plastic. So I'll wipe it off. What's on there? It'll glue your damn fingers to it, but it won't glue the plastic together. Bad thing is I already had a pilot made up ready to go. Okay. That's 30. And we got 5-minute here. 5 minutes. Okay, we're gonna need the sanding block. When all else fails, let me give you a little better view here. A little farther back view. So that's close enough. Okay. Oh, I wanted to explain for Dwayne how to paint the inside of the cockpit. I'll be doing that video, the inside of the canopy on an open cockpit airplane. First off, you paint it before you put the canopy on. Okay. But I'll do a short video after I'm done with this, just on the canopy. So we're gonna get a stick here and some tape. Last night I fiberglassed the cowl on my big tucker. As soon as I get an area to paint in, it's going to get a coat of white and we'll start trimming it. Okay. When all else fails, you use what you know is going to work. I'll have to mix up a separate batch of epoxy to glue his head on, but that's okay. For you guys watching this, try to be careful with the glue. Try not to slob it all over the place. And any glue that does slob out, wipe it off. So we'll set this down here so it's square. We got a little extra inside the neck cavity. I'm gonna, not that it would show, but it's added weight that I don't want to carry around. So now let's glue his head together. I don't know why I thought that glue would work. I know better. Super glue or Gorilla Glue super glue for plastic does not work for pilots. Don't bother wasting the $4. Used to buy Revell glue for, I think it was 19 cents. And you put a couple of drops of Revell glue on this and it'd be stuck forever. Okay. Try not to smear glue on his face. On his hair, you could probably sand it off. Well, you could probably get it on his face too, but man, it's so tiny. Come on, start to set up. I guess I'll just call that good enough. and sand the line out. So as we sit here and wait for this to dry, I'll just babysit this and hold it. We got a little bead of glue on the shoulder of that. Let me put that down and wipe this shoulder off so it doesn't leave a hard spot. So how many of you guys think epoxy is going to work to hold this together? I guess I could run to Lowe's and get some PVC cement. But I think this epoxy will do just fine. I should hurry up and kick off. And it's starting now. $11 viewers, 3 likes. Hey everybody, hit the like button. That's that one that goes like that. Super chats help. Our ad revenue is way down. Oh, we don't want to glue his head on yet. Seems like it was sticking on there. We'll glue his head on as soon as this sets and I sand the flashing off around where the joint was. You want that about as smooth as you can get it. I'm thinking about sanding his ears off and putting a headset on him. We could put him a mustache like I wear on there. I don't know. We'll do that with superfill. I don't know. Got to think about it. I know I'm going to cut his part deeper. And about got it. Okay, I like to have my pilots show a little action or emotion or whatever. You don't want to put his head cocked like that. You want his head to be put in cocked and up, looking out like he was standing. Because the judges are looking at him from the outboard side of the circle. Of course, there could be some reason to point him looking in because that's where he's going. But I don't know. This is an Al Rabe trick. It kind of adds a little life to it instead of that just dead stare, straight ahead look that the other Williams Brothers pilot comes with. What you do with those, you just saw his head off and then just twist it. But we'll get to that in a minute. So we got some flashing on here. We could take a modeler's knife or scalpel or whatever and cut off the glue and flashing around his head. These women's files work pretty well for it. The best pilot painting video is by a guy named Don Typod. Bob Hunt sells that video. The guy's passed away. He was a fine artist. He painted figurines, and the guy could really paint. Of course, there's a girl on YouTube who paints action figures that's pretty damn good too. But we're going to see if we can up her game on this one. I think I'm going to do a airbrush wash on this one. I want him to be a little more lifelike. But this doesn't take a whole lot of time to do and get a nice looking realistic pilot. It's not something that's going to take all night to do. I would say within the hour I'll have a pilot that's relatively decent looking, and then tomorrow after the paint's dry I'll do the wash on him. But you notice I got all that flash off there. There's no joint on top. Part of building these stunt planes is to be an all-around modeler. That's why I hope they never do away with builder of the model rule. If you want to be the flyer, fly FAI. Because the BOM and the AMA pattern is not just about flying, it's about being a modeler. And a modeler consists of building the airplane. Heck, if you can build your own parts, like we build some parts, you know, you kind of got to envy a guy who can build his own engine. I don't think I want to go that far, but shoot, I mixed that epoxy in my paint, my paint palette. Oh well. I think Walmart's getting out of the art supply business. These apple barrel acrylic colors that I bought are 50 cents a piece. I should have bought one of everything there, but I didn't think. And one thing I didn't get is some semi-gloss clear, because skin has a semi-gloss sheen to it, so we're going to have to do that tomorrow, but we'll get him painted tonight. But we'll put the semi-gloss paint on him, on his face tomorrow when I go back and get some of that stuff. But getting this thing sanded or carved or whatever you want to call it, getting that line out is kind of important, because nobody has a line going across their head. I'm not sure if I'm going to sand his ears off or not. Put a headset on him. Okay. I think this guy looks like Tom Warden. At least Tom Warden when he was in his 30s. Tom was a movie star looking guy, like a James Dean. Okay, let's go ahead and glue his head on. I'm gonna cut off probably 80% of this guy's bust after I get him painted up, because the pilot area in that big tucker is just so small, because I had to build a box on the floor of the cockpit for the control horn to pivot back and forth. Otherwise, the push rod wouldn't clear. So because of where the cockpit is, he's sitting right on top of the push rod. And that's a problem that we run into quite frequently with Nobler and Tucker and Chipmunk and just about all control line airplanes. It seems that the canopy is located right where the control horn is. So you just doctor it up and do the best you can to make it look as realistic as possible. But this is standoff scale. We're not in the scale business. And you don't want to fill this all up with glue. God. We're trying to make this pilot as light as possible, so you want to keep the materials down. Okay, so we're going to drop his head on here. I'm going to have him looking up and out. I got some glue smushing out the back there. I guess I'll wait and pick that off with a knife blade. It's a little bit under his chin right there, but I'm afraid that if I start wiping it with a towel, it'll smear all over the place. This is a question and answer session. If you guys got any questions, please feel free to ask. So now while we wait for this character to dry, we'll sit and BS. Current viewers and only 6 likes. That means that only 12 viewers and 6 likes. That means 50% of you guys ain't doing your job. Hit that like button. I think that's going to about do it for the epoxy, so let's get that off the bench. I don't particularly care for the I suggest he be looking inboard like a Reno racer pilot might be. You might suggest that, but seeing as that that everybody looking at the airplane is looking from the outside of the circle, I want them to look at him. I don't like these glasses. They don't look very good. So I doubt we'll use those. Now, Tommy Looper he did the smaller guy. He did it like Errol Flynn. It looks like he cut laugh lines, which we might do. Cut some laugh lines into the face and some wrinkles in the forehead. And that he did a pretty good job on this. He did this. There's his signature on the bottom. He washed this one too, so I'm not sure why his shirt's white. Nobody wears a white shirt, undershirt anymore that I know of. But whatever. Yeah, Tommy's cut grooves in this. I think we'll do that too. Tommy's an artist. He's a craftsman. He notched the nose out too. I think we might do that too. That looks pretty good. I mean, you got to be really looking at this close to see the laugh lines and the fine job he did. Yeah, we got the epoxy's about dry on that, so that's good. Let's get another palette. I suggest if you guys can get these things, these are 3M electrical tape holders that when you buy a 24 pack of electrical tape, they come in these containers, a box with a bunch of those containers in it, and that's what we get at work. Propel berry. I've been having to drink some water. Dr. Pepper's not as good for you as you might think. So I've been having to drink some water until I clear up a kidney infection. So I tried this Propel water. I like it. Yeah, paint a COVID mask on him, sure. That'd be great. Okay. All right, so Tommy has carved. How the hell would he have done that? Well, he certainly didn't do it with an X-Acto knife. He must have done it with Dremel. How am I going to do that? Let's see if I have any real sharp Dremel bits here. Yeah, okay. Got the tool. There's my bit box. Okay, let's look in the Dremel bit box and see if we got any real small bits we can use. Well, we got I guess that'd work. Okay, that'll work. As I told you, got to modify him. Otherwise, he's just like everybody else's, and I can't have that. Okie dokie. I don't know how much noise this Dremel's going to make. The microphone's over my head. I'm using a good mic instead of the microphone on the camera, so we'll see what it sounds like. That shouldn't be too bad. So, let's see here. I think I need something more aggressive than this. I need something more aggressive than that, so we could probably use something that's pretty dangerous. This end router. It's not quite as dangerous as that saw that I got, but if you put your finger on this, I'm sure it'd screw you up. This is supposed to be used on a router table, so don't laugh at me if I hurt myself. Oh yeah. The hairline always looks so fake on these pilots. It's ooh, that got away from me there. Just putting some texture on them. I'm using an N router here. Be very careful if you guys watch me do this. I mean, if you're not, I know a lot of guys watch me, and I do make things look easy. But if you're a kid or whatever, use some adult supervision. Get your permission from your parents. I certainly don't want to get anybody hurt. Okay, let's see what he did to his face here. Put some laugh lines in. I'm not sure I want to do it with this, but we'll give it a try. Give the pilot a neck tattoo. Yeah, right. That's a good idea. Cleaning up the inside of his ears just on the outside chance I don't take his ears off, putting a headset on him. I guess he needs some sideburns. Okay, so Tommy has put a notch in his nose in a couple of spots, so let's do that. Yeah, that's better. I got some laugh lines, so you want to be very, very sparingly with these grooves on his face. Got a cleft chin, so we'll give him that. I think we'll cut that with a knife. I got 45 minutes in this, 48 playbacks. 12 watchers, that's good. Okay, so now here it doesn't, I mean, I could leave it like that, but I'm going to take some sandpaper here and just kind of give them a going over. It's a 180. Knock some of the fuzz off of him. I think he needs a worry line up on top too, though. All these lines do is just give it some depth that I wouldn't be able to paint on. So let's see what we got here. See, I told you about that glue that kind of escaped under his chin. Yeah, it should be all right. Picked off here. You young guys out there that are coming up, please be very careful with all these sharp tools, because they get away from you. I've had my share of accidents. Everybody has. I don't want your mothers to say, you're teaching them how to kill themselves. Yeah. When I was a kid, we didn't have helmets for riding a bicycle. We didn't have knee pads for riding a bicycle, chest protectors, leathers, all kind of nonsense. It was survival of the fittest. Now, everybody gets a trophy. And nobody can do anything. Okay, let's put a couple worry lines up in his forehead. I think that would help. Man, this thing can get away from you quick. Okay, now if you were painting this pilot, which color would you start with first? I'm kind of glad I lost that other pilot, because this pilot's going to come out much better. The other one I just threw together and painted him up. I didn't do any grinding and sanding on him. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Change out this bit. I don't see an answer on which color you'd start with first. course, that's all going to get cut off anyway, but I'd like to have him look as nice as possible while he's still in a whole state. I'll set that down. I'm done with that. He'll get cut off about only that much, his collar and his head. Well, you're close, Mike. But I asked for what color to start off with. And we're going to get to painting right now, so I'll show you. I just want to get as much of this flashing, get him to look as best as possible. Prime the face and then the lightest. Well, dinging at me, whatever. Can you guys still hear me okay? I about had it with the current internet situation here. It's terrible. Okay. So, first thing I'm going to paint is white. Put a little drop there. I'll take our smallest brush. Of course, you really don't have to be that careful. We're going to paint the whites of his eyes. It's a whole lot easier to paint the whites of his eyes and then come back on the outside than it is to do the outsides and try to paint the whites. You know what? I don't have any blue. I could have swore I had blue. Shoot. Let me look here. I thought I bought blue. Well, I don't have any blue, so I'm going to have to do his eyes tomorrow, too. Let me get this off the... I guess I could do his green eyes. I could have swore I had blue. So I guess he's going to have green eyes. Can't believe I don't have any blue. Now we're going to say, well, what are we going to do for flesh tone? Well, I got this light mocha. And some tan. Come on. If I go back to Walmart tomorrow, I'm going to buy every color. They're only 50 cents a piece. There's probably 40 colors. You know, what's that, 20 bucks worth? Okay, we're going to put some chestnut brown. And a little bit of this mocha. And we'll see if we can't get something that looks like flesh out of that. So my skin tone is that, so we're going to have to add a little bit of brown. Still darker. You just use your own skin tone to make the color. I think it needs a little red in it. So let's open this up. Add a dot of red here. It won't take much, so very sparingly. That's pretty close. So now let's put some paint on his face. Yeah, it's kind of tan. I have to lighten it up some. Of course, I'm pretty tan, but have to put the highlights in it, I guess. Yeah, I think I'll lighten him up a little bit. A little too dark. Remember, get that Bob Hunt Don Tripod video. It's really good. The guy was a phenomenal pilot figure painter. I know this topic, but you mentioned that Super Tiger engines are good. Can you tell me about the S Tiger 60 Saturo? The V60 is the one you want, not the S's. You want a V60. It's a small case 60. They weigh about the same as a little bit more than a 40. They got good power. They run great. That was too dark. Yeah, I'm using my good equipment. It's just a pain in the butt to set up. But the audio was so bad from the camera that I decided that, I need to step it up a notch. Now, when you paint these faces, a face is not all one color. You're not just, there's shadows and different varying shades of color in a face. So don't just splosh it on and expect, well, that's good enough. Well, it ain't really. And lips are not red, they're darker brown. Of course, on the bridge of the nose, you're going to use a highlight, so you want to use a lighter brown with a little white. So a little darker underneath the eyebrows, because first off, everybody's got bags under their eyes. But you want to add a little depth there. I got that. If you look here on the side of the nose, I got too much dark paint. So we'll blend that in. So a little bit of dark paint into the under the cheekbones and under the nose. Followed by lightening it up with some lighter tones, so you don't want it just splotched on there. The cheeks are light. You could put a little red in the top of the cheek, but it would be very little. You don't want it to look too feminine. I can't tell by what he looks like on camera, but he don't look bad. So we'll put a little dark in the cleft of his chin here. And a little dark underneath his lip. I mean, when I say a little dark, I'm just barely touching the brush to the dark paint. And under his chin is going to be a little darker because it's shadowed. So give him a little depth. We're going to hit it with the airbrush too to throw in the shading, but I think I'll wait for his eyes till tomorrow so I can get that blue in there. Now, let's see. We need that little cleft in the under the nose and the nostrils. And then a little white on top of the lip for highlight. Oh, a little too much white there if you can't get away with that. You don't look bad. So, let's see. Remember, I have to add the semi-gloss clear all over his face because skin is shiny. It's not flat. So, I guess we're going to make what color hair? I could make it blonde. What do you think? I haven't made a blonde guy before. Let's see what happens here. Come on, get off there. So we're going to add a little yellow on the palette. But blonde is not yellow. Blonde is kind of brown yellow. So we'll get the brown in here. Get a little bit of yellow. Brown. Yellow. Probably could add a little red to that too, maybe. No, need more yellow. I don't know. The blonde hair might get changed up, but we'll give it a try. I mean, the nice thing about this acrylic paint is if you don't like it, just paint over it. Yeah, I don't like it. It's it's either not yellow enough or something's going on here. I have to add some black to them. You know what I'm going to do? Well, I better not. I will, when I end this stream here, in just a few minutes, because we're not going to continue painting this pilot. We won't get him done tonight because I don't have all the stuff. That looks pretty good, actually. I'm going to come right back and explain the open cockpit painting for Dwayne Donnelly. He asked me how I was going to do that, and I'll be more than happy to show him. So we need a little brown. I didn't mix up enough there. Need some brown, some more yellow, some more yellow. Well, I'm glad the audio is working. That is, it's a Rode shotgun mic on my boom inside a Rode blimp. I would bring all this stuff out to the field, but man, I don't have any help, and for me to tote all this crap around, it's pretty tough. I'm going to put a red snap-on jacket on him, because not only is the Tucker going to be sponsored by Dr. Pepper, but Snap-on tools too. I was looking at Reno Racers tonight to get a kind of a feel of where they put their sponsorship. I mean, obviously this is fictitious sponsorship because Dr. Pepper and Snap-on are not sponsoring me, but nice to dream. But Reno Racers, that where they put their sponsorship logos and decals and things, and kind of cool. I need to come around with some more flesh paint on the side of his face. And I also need to paint his ears. Shoot, forgot all. Well, I don't know. We might put that headset on him. Now, obviously, hair has different tones and textures in it, so just come back with a little darker brown or whatever and add in highlights and lowlights. And hair is always tough to do on these stupid things. It always looks fake. So underneath above his brow line and underneath the hair is going to be darker, so you want to use a lighter or darker shade, because you're trying to give him some body or whatever. In the part line is going to be darker. You can use black, but I don't suggest doing that. I would just suggest some of this mocha brown or whatever. But we need to go back and paint his ears. I need to get his ears going again. I kind of like that blonde brown color. Never had a pilot done like that. So, let's see here. Let's clean off the brush. Need to get that skin tone going again. So I had a little brown and a little tan and a drop of red. Need to paint his ear. Down behind his neck here. Behind his ear. Wash behind your ears now. Inside the ear is going to be darker. He's got, looks like a cauliflower ear on that guy. Okay. A little darker there. Got to have some texture under his jawline, some shading under the chin. Probably right here in the cheekbone area too would be darker. You won't go too crazy. Well, what do you think so far? Okay, I'm going to let this dry overnight. Which is probably not right. I probably will, after I hang up here, work on it some more, but I want to get Dwayne Donnelly's canopy question answered. And I thought I answered it pretty well, but I guess I didn't. I know if you look back at some of my older videos, I show the canopy steps. I've mounted a few canopies where they look like they're molded on and part of the airplane. And this is basically, I'm doing the same thing, only with an open canopy. Okay, I need to hold him at arm's distance and look and see what he looks like. He's too pale. So, tomorrow when he gets airbrushed, he'll look better. He's going to get airbrushed with dirt, black. Let me wash this brush off. better wash the other one off too, so okay. You know what? If you guys want to bear with me for just a second, I'll clean all this stuff up and I'll put my airplane back on the stand and I'll show what I'm going to do for that canopy. Do you guys want to see it now, or do you want me to make a separate video? Speak now or forever hold your peace. So I need blue, and I need the semi-gloss. And I'll probably go there and they won't have either one. A Super Tiger uses 6 ounces of fuel in an AMA pattern. So you got to have at least a 6-ounce tank. Preferably, if you can, a 7-ounce tank. That way, when you run high nitro and open the needle valve up, you're not trying to scrimp for fuel at the end of the flight. Okay, let's set this back. A 6-ounce clunk tank or a 6-ounce metal tank works just fine. I've been buying Cosmonauto's carbon fiber tanks. They're very pricey. They're 28,000 yen, which is about a little over $100. Then you got to pay shipping. But they're super nice, and if you're gonna play, you gotta pay. I might add a little more to them on that too. Anyway, let's talk about how I'm going to paint the canopy. The cockpit area. Okay, it has been asked how I'm going to paint the inside of this cockpit. It's already painted. I've tried to explain that several times. Let me pull this down so you can see. This canopy, first you paint underneath the canopy on an open. This is for an open. It's even for a canopy as well. First, you paint the airplane in this area where you're going to finish it out. Then you mount the canopy. I'm going to tape off the inside of this area so that no paint can get inside here, because if you do, it'll get all the glass inside dusted up. So you got to make sure you seal this area off real good. And you said, well, it's not going to be shiny underneath there. You're right, it's not, because it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be anti-glare, and if you really want to be technical about it, it might have been painted black or oh, I can't even remember the name of this stuff now. Zinc chromate color to represent that. Or if you want it shiny under there, you go ahead and finish that, paint this area white and then put clear on it. Let it dry. Then mark out where your canopy goes. I cut a notch or a groove into it. I set the canopy down into that groove. In this case, it's epoxied in. I set it down into that groove, let it dry, and then I mold the canopy onto the fuselage so that it looks like one piece. Hopefully this makes sense. If you look here, this canopy flows perfectly back from the hood scoop back to the frame of the canopy, and there's no line here between where I glued the canopy on and the fuselage. That's because it's molded in with superfill. It's a pain in the rear to do, but you kind of got to look at it. What else are you going to be doing with your time? I don't drink. I don't chase girls. I don't party. I don't do anything. I build model airplanes. So this is what I've been doing for 55 years or better. And more than that. See, 7 years old. Yeah, long time. So 60 years, Build, sand, and fly model airplanes. I really love to build. It's a piece of artwork. My website, Stunt Hangar, and my YouTube channel, Stunt Hangar, is to try to pass on what I've learned in all my experience in model airplane building, because when I was a kid, nobody would tell you anything. You couldn't get nothing out of nobody. How did you do that? Well, I can't tell you. Because they thought it was an advantage or to get an edge on you because of the builder of the model rule. Well, if everybody would have been like me back then, everybody'd be flying super nice airplanes. They wouldn't teach you how to candle. They wouldn't teach you how to cut ribs. They wouldn't teach you how to build an I-beam wing. They wouldn't teach you about dope. They couldn't teach you how to cover. So you had to kind of learn it all on your own. And without some help from some modelers and a lot of building, I mean, most of what I know is trial and error. That's why when I say TLAR, that looks about right. That's because I've only built 500 of them that way. So that was kind of comical back in the Stuka Stunt days. You can't do it that way. Well, shit, you never could have fooled me. I've been doing it that way for 50 years. I mean, what the hell? What's the difference? There's no one way to do something, but if you don't know how to do it, says we got no current viewers now. Are you guys still listening, or are we running, or what? Am I still broadcasting? Say something in the chat box to know whether I'm still online, because if I'm not, I might as well shut up. Okay, what the viewers went to 0. I guess it's 12. I don't know. Concurrent viewers. Still on. Okay. Great. I'm glad you guys like this audio better. I'll continue to use this. I just have to break out the mixing board. Let me show you what I'm using for sound. And I got to have a mixing board to run that, so normally, I just been using off the camera. It's a Logitech camera. I got 2 Logitech cams for different angles. But as I've stated in the past, I'm not a sound engineer, a video engineer. I'm not a computer programmer. So all that Stunt Hangar stuff I worked on for 15 years to learn how to get that website the way that it is. Hey, great, Mike. I worked on that website 15 years to program that code in. You're not going to see a whole lot of changes on Stunt Hangar because I'm a mechanic, and if it's not broken, don't fix it until it's broke. Because these characters at Windows and Google and they try to change things so that they show their bosses that they're useful. Well, I don't need to show anybody anything. The damn thing's working. Don't monkey with it. So you're not going to see a whole lot of changes on Stunt Hangar in rapid succession. I will say this so that everybody knows. If you're on Stunt Hangar and I take something down, which is very rarely, do not post it back up. That we had an incident, and that kind of ticked me off. It doesn't matter why I took it down. It's that I took it down, and it'll stay down. Anyway, so that I hope that answers the question on how to paint underneath the canopy. You can't paint under the canopy after it's mounted. You have to paint it first. Here's that box that I was talking about. The pilot sits down in a small hole here, but right there underneath that is the control horn, and these are inch and a quarter tall control horns, so it's sticking way up there. It'd rub him right in the middle of his chest, so I got to cut him off pretty good. And I'm using the big pilot instead of the little pilot just for the scale effect that these air racers were not big airplanes, so if I put the little pilot in there, this thing would be a bit like a B-52. So I got to use the 1/6 size pilot to make it more realistic or more scale-like. I'm also thinking on, I've been really working on the layout for the paint job. And what I'm thinking about doing is an asymmetric paint job, very similar to, I can't remember whose name it was, but he's a Canadian guy and he flew the Jester. Beautiful paint job, but he used automotive clear for that instant shine, so that's not my forte, but the layout was nice. I also liked Derek Barry's airplane that he copied the paint job from a air racer, the green one. That was a nice paint job. So this is going to be real elaborate, the paint job on this one. It's not going to go fast. I got to get the white laid back down where I fixed all these buggers. You can see that I used some of the 3M green spot putty and some little dot spots, and I have to go back and make sure that all the transitions are correct. So John asked me today, you still sanding on that? Yep, been sanding on it now going on 2 weeks trying to figure out get all these little imperfection out of it. And it'll probably get sanded another time before the white paint goes on. And then of course the white paint will go on, the trim will go on, a coat of clear, it'll get sanded, another coat of clear, it'll get sanded, another coat of clear, it'll get sanded. And hopefully we get a paint job that came out as nice as the Monado. Let me show you the Pilot in the Monado. It'll give you more a breadth of scale of why I'm using the bigger guy. We probably can get a better zoom on this. If I don't know, the lights are, everything's so damn big. Let me get a paper towel and wipe this off. What the hell happened to him? Uh-oh, we got no data. Oh, there we go. I think the internet is screwing around here. Let's see if we can get a better look at the Pilot here. Let me turn them right. So there is a big Pilot, just like I'm painting up here. And I think they look more to scale for this size airplane than the little guys. What the hell is that? Got a fingerprint on it. Can't have that. Where's my Windexo? It's over there. This is the airplane that I did the gold leaf. The gold leaf video on. Let's see. And I got some thumbs down on that video. And I think those guys that were giving me the thumbs down must have been sign painters, because it wasn't the way you're supposed to do gold leaf. But you know what? You can't argue with success. There we go. Got that fingerprint off of it. Because the gold leaf letters turned out just fine. So this is all dope. This airplane weighs 58 ounces. Or maybe it's 59. I can't remember. 58 or 59. I know it's just under 60. Things were changed on this airplane to make it fly better by making the elevators larger. And if I wanted to monkey with this airplane and really make it fly better, I would cut a 1/4 inch of flap off of this to start with the whole way. It has too much flap. This is a big airplane and it's light and it just has too much flap. But I just don't want to monkey with it because it's finished so nicely. So we'll just hang it on the wall as a piece of artwork and bring it out to that's basically like its namesake, because Tom did that with his Monado, and his Monado, the purple one, was beautiful. It didn't fly with the crap, so you didn't see a whole lot of service. His was too heavy. Too heavy. Let me get this up and out of the way so we don't. I don't want to poke a hole in it or anything goofy. And it's finished equally well, top and bottom. There's not many mistakes in it. If there is, I ain't gonna tell you where they are. It would sadden me if something happened to that airplane. Kind of like my Continental that I got, the red, white, and blue, and I don't want to see anything happen to that one either. So, does anybody have any questions? It's question and answer time. If you got any questions, speak now or forever hold your peace, because I'm going to turn it off. We've been on 1 hour, 44 minutes. So, make sure you like, subscribe, share the videos. It helps the channel. Come a long ways. We started with nothing and got, I don't know, 2,600, 2,700, whatever the subscriber count is. If you can become a paid member, that sure helps. It helps the metrics. And I realize that I haven't been putting out what I said I was going to put out, but you know, I try to put out as much content as I can. And I don't know, I might do something special for the paid subscribers, like another giveaway, but I cannot send anything overseas. There's just no way. I can't afford it. So if I give away a kit to the paid subscribers or whatever, please be in the United States if you want a kit. You know, if I'm going to do another kit giveaway, I am going to be giving away for Christmas this year an SV11 ARF. It's a Brodak SV11 ARF, brand new in the box. It'll come in its own, I guess that's how he shipped them out, just right in that cardboard case there or whatever. But that's how we're going to send it. And I'll be doing that before December 25th, so it's about a month away. We'll start drawing for names. And if you're not a supporter on Stunt Hangar, hit that support button and get your triangle for this 21. And let me see what else I got. Well, heck, I don't know. Hopefully I teach you something. Like I say, anybody that has a question, more than willing to, I'm willing to answer either here or on the forum. Call me on the phone, don't matter. So, till I see you tomorrow, fair winds, tight lines. See ya.